上集我们和在德国监狱做了4年老师的 Zevan 聊了监狱和人性最真实的样子。Do you think that people who are serving lifetime sentences, they tend to behave different?
It's always the silence that's dangerous. If you don't gain their respect, they're not even going to listen to you.
而这些生存法则并不仅限于监狱，回到现实中，他又会怎么保护自己 ？What qualities do you value most when making friends now? 而在人际关系里，到底又有哪些危险信号是我们一直忽略的？Have you ever been in danger while teaching?
Yeah, it was one of the last for that term. They're making jokes, laughing. For a short moment, I was joining in the laughter of a joke. And in that moment where I didn't pay attention, one of the guys didn't laugh and was looking at me. You think that's funny?
But were you laughing at him though?
No, not at all. He was partly included in the joke, but not just him.
Okay.
But he was taking it very seriously. Why? Because they love to put oil in the fire. So they're like, even the teacher thinks you're like a blah, blah, blah. This is a moment people are going to wait for. It's entertaining. And I'm like, I didn't laugh about you, but I know I'm already stuck in there. Someone's like, calm down, it's nothing big, as I told you, someone that liked me a lot.
Trying to help out.
Next thing you see, he just throws one of those tables to the ground, grabbing the chair and wants to throw it.
I feel like you really have to know where the boundary is.
Absolutely.
Teachers, in general, they do have a certain authority over students.
Oh, yeah.
But for your case, do you think you also had the same relationship between you and the inmates, or was it very different?
I was the youngest colleague from all the teachers in prison. And I'm just getting inside this place, and there's 10 or 12 of these guys sitting there on these chairs, which are a bit too small for them, and they're looking at me. I made that pretty clear. I said, probably each of you could beat me in a fist fight. That's not why I'm here. I don't know how much of you understand what I'm saying, but we have to make the best out of this. You don't want to be in your cell. I want to do my work well. Is that something we can work with?
That's very impressive, because it sounds like you already know the survival rule. Day one that you're being there, what was your secrets to gain their respect? Code
switching. You know their code, you know their background. You come up with some memories or anecdotes which might be similar to their reality. These things will make them feel more connected. You have to be so incredibly careful not to be partial. I'm not part of any of these people. I like and dislike all of you the same, because this male ego, probably one of the most fragile things in prison. It's so easily shaken.
And you also mentioned that there are 3 survival rules when working in prison. The first rule is never talk about someone's father. Why was that?
You don't have a car, you don't have a great job. How do you identify yourself if you have nothing but your gender, your role as a masculine man? Even though the father could have done horrible things to them, the father figure as the masculine leader, if you say something about my father, that's the only role where I connect my masculinity with, my identity.
That's an interesting perspective. And the other 2 rules that you mentioned are don't build personal relationships, and also never ask inmates what they did.
One of the most important things we have to learn is to set a boundary, because they will easily use that against you if you have a relationship with them. And if you ask them about what they did, you're not a therapist. I'm just a teacher. I don't know how to deal with it. Also, you never know what could trigger them.
当时聊到这儿的时候呢，我也开始好奇，在一个这样的环境里，人跟人之间是怎么被划分的？监狱里面有没有一种无形的等级 ？What's the lowest in all the cases?
Child pornography and doing anything to children, the lowest of the low.
And what's above them? What's the next
if
level?
you're someone who did very well through drug transactions, you're supposed to be someone who's very smart, intelligent. You successfully organized certain people to work for you. A bit like 老板, You're like, this guy is oh wow, he's skilled. If you did another business, you would have been a great 老板,
It almost sounds like in prison, it's kind of like a magnifier of how relationship works in a society.
Yeah, it's a very interesting mirror.
Do you think prisons sometimes make people better or worse?
Most of the time, probably worse, I think. You lose all your social relationships. The only persons you have left who respect you, who look at you as a human, a lot of times, are your common inmates. Then the only one inside who still sees you as a human, laughs about your jokes, want to know how you're doing, is that guy who sold drugs or that guy who, I don't know, robbed 3 stores. You go out of prison, you have no one, now you're in a different circle.
Do you think that people who are serving lifetime sentences, they tend to behave different compared to who are not?
They just gave up. But that also gives peace to some of them. Nothing's going to change. Everything is settled. I don't have to think about what I'm going to eat tomorrow, and what job I'm going to have, whether I'm going to get married, none of that. He wouldn't care about much.
我以前其实从来没有想过，原来终身监禁的人会有这样的一种极致的平静。以前我总觉得焦虑、执着这些词其实都是负面的，但反过来看，我们现在在纠结、在焦虑、在放不下，某一程度其实证明的是我还在意，我还在追求。I can imagine like it must have been very intense for you to witness and experience that firsthand in that environment. How did you process experience like this every day?
To be honest, after my work in the first year, I would just take a walk by myself after work because I can't talk with anyone about it. I felt like I would just burden people. I didn't want to go home with that luggage. So that was one thing. I would just walk.
For how long?
2 to 3 hours after work.
That was a long walk.
Yeah.
During those years working inside the prison, was there a moment that was especially touching or meaningful for you?
There was especially one was incredibly moving. There was this one guy, also a big guy, very muscular guy. He never graduated. He didn't go to high school, never had any certificate. He felt like a failure his whole life. After the second year, we were at the end of a course and he would have to do an exam. And we were just sitting there in the preparation room. There's like a couple of people there sitting and they're like so nervous. All these guys in those shirts which are too tight, they're like having sweaty hands. He comes up and says like this, and then he said, "Teacher, can you come with me to the exam room? Can you just sit there?" It would be just giving me so much more calmness.
He wants your company.
Exactly. I was just sitting in the back. He would keep looking. During the exam,
You're like his parents.
Yeah, exactly how I felt too. I felt like he's my kid. We go out of the exam room. He's like, "I don't know, did I do well? Do you think I passed? This is going to be so important if I get out of prison." He was supposed to get out of prison. I think eventually we get the result. Everything was fine. Gets the pass. And then this guy, he just looks at this paper and cries. He starts crying and hugs me and says, "This is the first time I have ever gotten any certificate, graduated, or that I felt like I succeeded anything." And I had to cry too. I was so happy for him.
That's emotional.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I would say that's the beauty of this job. Everything's very raw, and that gives you the opportunity to build connections with each other. 那天聊到这里的时候，其实信息量已经特别大，而且很重。直到今天，当我想起我们聊的故事呢，我还是会有一种如鲠在喉、说不出口的一种郁闷的感受。所以我当时很想知道，这段经历到底怎么样影响着他看待人生的方式。Do you think this experience left a mark on you, or has it changed you in some way?
Yeah, in various ways. I think one of the ways that it has shifted me or changed me drastically is how I see people in my daily life. So maybe rather than looking at what they say, I should look at how they say it. I'll give you an example. We're good friends. You come late once or twice. And even the second time you come late, I'm not going to say it what you say, why you came late. I'm going to say it how you say it and how the actions look like. And if that doesn't align, you might call it cruel, but I will just cut it off.
Right. And after working in prison, what qualities do you value most when making friends now?
I think qualities that I would value the most making friends is transparency. Also questioning your ego. It's so hard to find male friends who are not consistently trying to prove themselves, who are not consistently trying to compete with you. Just for me to say, "You did a good job. Wow, you're a great guy. You got that new job." If you need my confirmation or affirmation from everywhere, it's very tiring.
Do you think after applying this kind of rules, friendship rules, your friendship has become more genuine?
I just have less friends. I have barely none.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah, very much happier. Less people, but at least the people who are around you are people you know you can rely on.
Right. What I'm hearing is that you tend to look for friends who are genuine. They kind of act as what they say.
Maybe you also remember from the last time we talked that I said the last thing they can accept and the worst thing they see is someone acting.
Right.
And that's something I learned from them.
That's interesting. Why do you think the inmates are so sensitive to this trait?
I think because they don't have anything else. Only thing you can give me is to be honest and transparent.
Yeah.
That's the currency we have.
That's the real connection.
That's the real connection.
当一个人被剥夺身份、资源、体面这一些外在的东西之后，那人跟人之间到底还剩下什么？答案反而变得很简单，就是真实。当时我也开始意识到，在所有关系里面，真正稀缺的或许不是付出，不是陪伴，而是那份信任感。Let's go back a little bit on the boundary topic. I feel like this also applies to our daily life. For example, when friends try to share with me their pain, it could feel a bit like overwhelming for me.
Right.
But I'm always struggling, like, should I be more empathetic because they're my friends? So how do you tell the difference between being empathetic, being kind, versus protecting your boundaries?
Having no boundaries is also very cruel to yourself. I think one of the most important things that I also learned in prison is to let go of control. Empathy, for me, means I can feel that you're sad. I understand, I'm here to listen. But I can't do anything about it. I can't make you happy. I can't change you. I can't help you to make a decision. That's not cruel.
I wish I could be as transparent and as direct as you when sharing this kind of thoughts to friends, because I'm afraid of hurting their feeling.
Right. I think friends is also someone we train. Like they train us. If I tell you the first time, look, I don't think I can do it today. I just don't feel like it might be not very comfortable to listen to.
But I got to understand you more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you can make the decision.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
Do I want to continue this friendship? If you do so, I think we can build a very solid friendship where we are very transparent with each other.
Right.
Right?
It's kind of like you be yourself in the very first place and let each other decide if you guys are suitable for each other.
Yeah. And believe in yourself. Believe in the friendship.
And talking about relationship, after witnessing so many different raw sides of human, are there any relationship red flags that you think people often overlook, but that is very important?
I think one of the most dangerous things to overlook is if someone constantly justifies themselves. If you always have that urge to explain yourself, why you did something, instead of just being there and saying, you know what, I did a mistake. That is such a dangerous indicator of someone with a fragile ego. Someone who's gonna put a lot of pressure, put a lot of blame on you too. And saying something simple as sorry, even though I know it can be quite difficult at times, it is a powerful thing if it doesn't happen frequently. At the same time, someone just saying sorry all the time is also a red flag. Because if you're saying sorry, but if there's no action with apology, the apology is meaningless.
Right.
Imagine your friend coming late. I'm so sorry that I'm late. This over. Next time,
Still.
I told you I'm sorry. What else do you want? Right? Like, you're making a big scene out of this. I already apologized. They want to take sorry as a free pass.
Yeah. 在刚接触 Zevan 的时候呢，我一直觉得他是一个共情力很强的人，就是你说的每一句话都有一种被重视、被回应的感觉。但聊到后面，我发现他其实一直在做一件更难的事，他尝试把人跟行为分开，把理解跟情感分开，既能看见复杂，也不让自己被吞没。我想这也是这段经历留给他的一部分。而我还在这一场修行之中，学着在复杂当中保持清醒，也在关系里珍视那一份不需要表演的真实。